don't know what it wants to tell me, but it wants to tell me things. Oh well.
Oh, well.
That's all sorted. Alright, we can finally down. I'm gonna pull up a screen over here. We've got a fair bit to get through, actually, which is surprising. Refresh that. There we go, we've got a live sitting here. And we'll go over here, refresh that. It's not quite live time, but we're sitting here live anyway. Latest live. Right, we're live on that one as well. Well, that's going to be annoying if I can hear us through this as well as that. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. I don't know how to turn it down. I wonder how you can turn it down. If anyone knows how to turn the volume down on a laptop, let me know. Oh, there we go. That's how you turn it down. I'll do it with the Facebook one as well. I think that's already off. Off. That's good. Oops. Let's see if we can bring up the comments section for this. Wild Woofers Snake Catching says we're live. G'day mate. Where are you? I've never heard of Wild Woofers Snake Catching. Pet sitting and dog walking. Aaron Gree is here and he says sup and then a word you don't want to repeat. Well, a word that I'm not allowed to repeat on here anyway. Now I've got to figure out how I bring up the comments on this so we can talk to people on the YouTube as well. Don't know how to do it. You have to bear with us for a minute, guys. I don't know how to use any of this stuff at this stage. This is the first one we've done. I assume that's it there, but I don't know. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit a comment on there and I'll see if it pops up on here. Then I'll know if I can talk to you guys on that. I know I can talk to you guys on Facebook already. Aaron Greaves watching on Facebook and says can hardly hear you, which is weird because we're using the microphones for Facebook. If the audio doesn't come out too good on the Facebook one, we might end up switching over and putting the audio onto the YouTube. You can say as many rude words as you want, Grieve. We don't mind at all. But we'll see, hopefully the audio issue's going to resolve itself pretty quickly. Says they're all connected. Shouldn't have any dramas, hopefully. It's quite laggy here though. I don't know what's going on with that.
Delayed.
It is a bit delayed. Maybe the volume on your phone's not turned up to that. Maybe that's the issue. Might be causing us to have some delays with the audio quality.
Turn up.
I don't know. Where is... Well, Cookie and Nicole, we're going to be on the YouTube channel, so hopefully they can hear us on that. If not, we might even just bring the camera in a little bit closer so that you guys can hear us a bit better, I think. Let's do that. I might hold this one so I don't knock it off. Bring this in a little bit. Get it a bit more level. Oh, you can even see the fire pit. Look at that. Can't complain about being able to see the fire. And I don't know what I can see with this one because I'm not really very good at setting it up. It just wants to fall off. Someone's got a phone call. That was Cookie trying to ring you.
Oh, nice.
That one's done a bit of a stack it.
Oh, you just got it on film today.
And technically it's not on film because it's on a live, but same thing. Might take this out of the case. Right, that might sit a little bit better like that. We'll see.
Need to go up. Hang on. Oh, it's, yeah, just remember it's like delayed, so I don't have to turn that on.
Oh, you've seen it on that, but well, I don't know which one you're on.
The bottom one.
But anyway, hopefully we've got a few things organised there. That's the YouTube one, which is fine. Facebook. Might check your
Volume.
the volume on your phone. I'll phone that one again. Whoops. Whoa. It doesn't want to sit there very well, but it's there anyway. But we'll see. Hopefully the audio's quite loud on the Facebook because that was the one that we've got all the microphones and all the gear hooked up for. So that's Facebook, that's the YouTube. Righto, so hopefully that should. Righto, so this is going to be our first live, Mr. Zach, and it's because people keep asking us questions and asking us to do this. So we thought, you know, it's a good excuse to get around the fire. I was going to crack a beer, but I don't have any, so I'm not going to crack a beer. And start talking about some of the things that you guys wanted to talk about and answer some questions that you guys wanted to talk about. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about was this season. Everyone kept saying that snakes are growing in numbers. Everyone's concerned that there's a lot more snake calls these days, but I think it's, for us, it's just been primarily through from, you know, us getting the word out there and educating people and people no longer killing them. So, I mean, at one point, how many snake calls were you getting? You probably did the majority of the snake calls this year.
Either 3 or 4 a day.
That was at one point.
Had to be, almost 3 every day, twice a day.
And that was for a good month or two.
Easy.
That was for a while. How many times do you reckon you got called back to the same snake?
Couple.
That happened a few times
Couple
this
of
year,
times,
hey?
yeah. It's always the cheap ones you can't get.
And what was the cause of not getting them, do you think?
Probably not watching the snake. Like, just not watching it, or just a really, really awkward place to try and catch it. Really bad spot.
I don't think it's got too much to do with people having messy yards or anything like that. I think in Broken Hill especially, I don't know about other places because I don't live anywhere else at the moment, but A lot of fences and stuff in Broken Hill seem to have really poor footings. So a lot of fences in Broken Hill don't have footings. They've always got gaps under the fences and stuff, which makes it hard.
Bad maintenance.
Yeah, well, and you end up sort of jumping fences, which you don't really want to be doing all the time.
No.
I don't know, I think I've stacked it over fences a few times, probably 3 or 4 times over the years.
Yeah, I've jumped one or two.
You reckon, how many of you stacked it over, you think?
None yet.
You haven't stacked it?
None
Yeah, I've
yet,
stacked
none
it.
yet.
Yeah, but I'm fat and crippled, so I stack it all the time. That's my fault, unfortunately. But, so, alright, well, something that someone else asked us the other day was, what was the biggest snake we caught this year?
Yeah, there's a few. Probably the big ones we've had towards, I want to say the end of the year.
Yeah, they were towards the end of the season. I remember I caught a decent sized snake and you caught out that massive Spitterenko. That was a big snake.
Yeah, the one in the wedding suit and the one out in Duff Street, we released down the Mindy Road.
What was the one in Duff Street?
The one we released down in the Mindy Road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I'm just going to make sure the sprinklers don't come on.
That'd be bad. You're funny too.
It would be catastrophic if we were sitting here and the sprinklers came on.
That'd be funny.
But that's all sorted out. They're not going to come on now.
That'd be bad.
But yeah, I don't think there's more snakes around than there have been in the past. I mean, when we're in the midst of that big drought that we had, I think snake numbers did decline a lot. And I think the mulgars were hit the hardest. I think we've seen less mulgars than anything else for a long, long time. So yeah, there's been a lot less king browns around, and that sucks. I think they're probably my favourite snake.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of weird little close calls. If people check out the TikTok channel and scroll through those, they'll see one tapping me on the finger.
Yeah, that
Mouth closed. He didn't try to bite me, so I wasn't too stressed about it. But and that's typical browns. They just don't tend to. Black snakes.
Black snakes.
Yeah, they don't tend to bite.
Yeah. They're chill little puppy dogs.
And I think the most robust snake that we've had has been the good old ring brown. I mean, it doesn't matter what the weather's done. Right through the drought, they were here. We didn't have dramas with them. And even now, they're always the last sort of snakes we catch in the season. Well, you didn't get a ringy the other day. What'd you get?
No, I got a curl snake.
Curl snake the other day. That's right.
A curl in a pool.
Curl snake in a pool. And that's a pretty typical thing because they're only small and they just tend to get stuck in pools, which is unfortunate. But that is what happens. People are still commenting here, so we will keep up with that. But I mean, season recap. What do you think about this season? What was the highlights?
Oh, it was good. We've seen a lot of big healthy snakes hanging around.
We did see some healthy snakes, and I think we've had a couple of years of good rain,
Yeah.
that's what's been driving mouse populations. We had a little bit of a mouse plague at one stage, didn't we? When was that?
Yeah, when was that?
I think it was. I think it was last year.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Channel 7 that we went out and did a thing with Channel 7 out on the Benindi Road.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the year before.
I wasn't there, I was only you and Cookie. It was at Mulga.
Oh, Cookie was there. Cookie, you might tell us when it was. When was that? But yeah, we've had good food laying around for snakes, which has been good, and good weather. We've had a fair bit of water, which has been good, and that's been helping a lot of snake populations recover. And yeah, the more rain and stuff that we get, and the better the habitat is out bush for snakes, the less likely they're going to come into town and look for food because they don't need to. They've got food out. They'd rather not be anywhere near us if they can help it.
Yeah.
So.
We're the only source of food and water for hundreds of kilometres.
Well, and that's it. A lot of the times when we're in a drought situation, they have to come to town because they've got no other choice. They have to come in and find food.
And then they get in trouble.
They get in trouble, yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
But we've been changing that perception really well, which has been good. So there's been a lot of people, and especially station owners and stuff like that won't kill them anymore. They'll let them go and won't hurt them. And we've got some good wildlife sanctuaries around here as well. Rod's done a great job out at that wildlife sanctuary, and and he allows us to release snakes out there whenever we want. We had those little shovel-nosed snakes out there that we released. That was good.
That was cool.
Yeah, and that was interesting because for years I've been trying to find those little shovel-nosed snakes. We've never found them, and then all of a sudden, in the last year or two, we found quite a few. I reckon we've found over a dozen.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be over a dozen in the last
over-
couple of years,
yeah,
easily. Whoops, I'm clicking on things here, guys. Sorry if I cut it. Oh, that's not doing the live anyway. So if I click on, that's not going to hurt anything. Troy's late. No, you're not late, Troy. We were actually early. So we, I have a confession to make because I did stuff up. When I did the event on Facebook to tell people that we're going to go live tonight, I accidentally did it for 8 o'clock. And it was meant to be for 7 o'clock, but then everything that I put out was saying that we're at 7 o'clock. And then we ended up going early anyway. I think we've been mucking around just trying to get the equipment working since about 1:45. So there are a few people that have been hanging on since then that were sitting around watching us drop cameras and fumble with cords and that kind of stuff. So we got there eventually. But yes, we are here. We just we were talking about, I guess we're still talking about this season and sort of what happened. You're obviously more available than I am when it comes to snake calls, so when people call you, they get you straight away. Sometimes when I'm at work or if I'm on night shift or whatever, I can't take a call. But, you know, and you've travelled a fair bit this season for snake calls.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone to Menindee?
Yeah, once or twice. Once for, I don't know. Once was at Corey's place for a spittering car.
It's been more than once or twice.
Oh, yeah. Murray Darlings.
Luckily, a couple of times you've already been up there.
Yeah.
Like, you've had a few calls this season where you were already at Sunset Strip or Kofi or something like that.
Yeah, get a call then.
Yeah, you had a little, duck into Sunset to pick up a snake.
Mm.
Well, there's a lady at Sunset Strip that she's had a little bit of a repeat offender snake. Well, I think she's probably called us 4 or 5 times for that snake this year. I'm not even convinced that it was the same snake every time either. It might have been different snakes, but...
I'm trying to think of the one you think of.
Oh look, I can't remember the address or
Yeah,
anything.
no.
I wouldn't say it anyway, but she's called us. I think she probably called us 4 or 5 times this year for the snake, and I think we went up there once. And then Trevor went up there. He went to it at one stage. For those of you that don't know, Trevor is he's actually a licensed snake catcher in Menindee now, so he's taking any of the calls that we get for the Menindee area, so we don't have to worry about Zach travelling to Menindee all the time for snake calls, which is good. Just makes it a little bit easier. Look at our angle on the YouTube one. we might have to fix that. I think that's it's a little bit atrocious. We'll fix the YouTube angle. Might even see if I can sit that camera somewhere else. But this YouTube one, guys, unfortunately, I'm sorry, it's not mounted on the tripod like the other camera. It's actually just sitting on the base of the tripod. So that's not sitting very well, unfortunately. But we will get there. We'll just deal with the technical difficulties as they come along, and we'll get there. So so if we've done a bit of a wrap up on the season just gone, we might have to start talking about what's going to go on with the coming season as well. We've got a fair bit coming up this season. I know I've got a fair bit coming up. Hopefully, we've got a few discussions in the next, or by the end of this month, I should have some decent news. I haven't even told you this yet, Zach. But I should have some really good news, hopefully, fingers crossed, on having the reptile park starting to move in the right direction again. So I've got a meeting late this month or early next month. And hopefully out of that will come a more solid idea of what the venue is going to be for the reptile park. So that'll be something so those of you that have been following along and know what's going on with the reptile park venture is that I've started a company called Scream, which is Silver City Reptile Exhibit and Museum. And it's all over the socials as well. You can already follow it. But yeah, for the last 12 months I've been doing a lot of work trying to get the location up and running, or getting a location nutted out for it. Hit a few roadblocks. That's putting it lightly, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've hit a lot of roadblocks, but I think we're onto something now, and hopefully in the next month or so we'll be able to give you guys a bit more of an idea of what's going to go on in terms of where that's going to be, and then we can get that ball rolling as well. So, but I mean, that's not really much to do with the snake season coming up. I think
Another topic itself.
yeah, it's another topic again. I thought I just got a little bit sidetracked there on some random segue that didn't need to exist. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen this coming season?
Oh, well, I suppose the last season we've seen a lot of big snakes, a lot of healthy snakes getting around. So I reckon we might see again this year. Hopefully a bit more.
just see, and I think just gone that were,
More pythons getting around than anything.
well, yeah, we have seen a few pythons in the last sort of season and a bit, which has been good. I don't mind seeing a python every now and then. We had a few escaped pythons this year too, that was a new one. We don't often get escaped pythons, but it does happen. We're back. But yeah, we've done a lot of work in ensuring that people sort of change their opinion of snakes and all of that sort of stuff. But I don't know, it's just something that we'll keep banging away on it. We have to. Whoops. Someone just said, did we have any hot areas, like any hot spots? Were there any areas of town that were... Because I know historically some of the hot spot has been out the industrial area. So that's been...
Yeah.
We used to have calls out there a lot.
There was one stage we were getting just calls in one, like street, be Knox Street. It'd be all Knox Street. That'd be it. It'd be industrial area. Now it's been like all around town.
Well, I remember at one stage we were getting... I think there was one snake there that we were getting called to. I think it was around the Morgan Street area. And we got called to that snake 5 or 6 times, and it was in like a 4 or 5 block radius and it was in all directions. But that snake kept popping up all the time. We did end up getting him, but you know, that was a bit of a task to get that one nutted out.
Even one like down Piper Street. What's his name?
Piper Street.
The one we can't get around this area.
I can't remember what we named him. The big boy on top of Otto's Hill. Yeah.
That's him. Yeah.
So yeah, we had a call to that. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it was either a python or it was a mulga, but I got told it was moving really quickly, so I don't think it's a python. But yeah, on top of Otto's Hill, we got called to a snake, and it was described as being full width of the lane. So that was a big snake. But I think it's just going to be. He'll come back. I reckon that one will come back, and we'll get calls to him again next year. There's something that I've got a little agenda here to go through for tonight. We wrote this out because I knew that I would just sort of ramble on about nothing for 4 hours if people let me. But one of the things that we're going to get onto is some common questions that we get asked all the time. And we also, if you guys chuck in the comments, chuck your questions down there of what you guys are interested in us talking about. If you've got any questions about snakes, or I don't really care what the question is, you can ask whatever you like. But yeah, chuck your questions in there. I've already got a fairly decent list of common questions that we get asked on a fairly regular basis that we'll probably go, well, not probably, we will go through. You've probably just run us through, I think the first one was what we want people to do if they find a snake. And, you know, go into a bit more detail about what we need them to do and what they should do when they first spot it as well. So I'll leave that one to you, and I'll start playing on this.
I guess really it's just like, if you see a snake, don't go near it, don't try and kill it, catch it, because that's how you get yourself bitten. Just leave it alone, keep a safe distance away from it, and just give us a ring and we'll come and deal with it.
I think there has been a couple of times where we've asked people to contain a snake. And it's only when it's been like a really tiny snake. Sometimes they're really tricky to find if you lose sight of them. And we've said, you know, if you've got a bucket, you can chuck a bucket over it. But that's only when people are confident to do that. It's not something...
We wouldn't say to you do it if it's a bigger one.
Or if you weren't, you know, comfortable doing it. We did have the guys at the hospital one time. They had a snake. Actually, I think I got called to a snake at the hospital. It was in the entrance, in the side entrance to the hospital, and I got called to a snake there, and there was a guy standing there watching it. They were just sitting there chilling. It was a decent sized snake. It was a mulga actually. And then it was only like 2 days later, I got called to another snake in the same little foyer. It was trapped just inside the doors, and one of the ladies at the hospital tried to put a bowl over it, and it was only a tiny little.
Yeah.
What was it?
Ringy.
It was a ringy, wasn't it? Yeah. And she actually dropped the bowl on the snake's head and killed it. So unfortunately, we were just rocking up to pick up the snake. But that was unfortunate. But that doesn't always happen. It's one thing we always tell people: don't like get a broom and chuck it on it and try to hold it still or anything, because you're only going to hurt the snake. It's not going to. it's not going to help us in any way. I would rather the snake get away and get another call for it in 2 days than I would for someone to hurt the snake, just to make sure that we catch it, or you catch it, or whoever attends the call. We've had a lot of people that have injured snakes called us, and then when we rocked up, that's something I'm going to talk to you about in a minute too, Zach. Actually, we've got a conversation about that. But you know what I'm going to talk about. But yeah, I mean, I would rather people. Snakes are not going to go out and attack things. The biggest danger that we have is that people's pets are just not trained to not attack snakes. So that's the biggest danger, is that we've had, over the years, we've had a lot of people's dogs attacked by, or not attacked. We've had a lot of people's dogs bitten by snakes, and that was purely because the dog was messing with the snake. And I think that's probably the biggest danger in a snake getting away, and us not successfully catching a snake, because if it goes into a neighbour's yard or something like that, then they might have a dog. And that's also another thing that I think I had a bit of a rant about this at one stage this year. There was a lady that had tried to kill a snake and had gotten away under the fence, and we were unable to locate it. Now, the issue is going to be there that if she had injured that snake, it's then in a fight or flight response. And if it had gone under the fence and there were small children playing in the backyard, and they were then in the proximity of the snake, she could have then endangered someone's children's lives just by doing that. Now, the flip side of that, we got a call to, I want to say it was Uranium Street or something, and we got a call because a lady had gone out to her 3-year-old's playhouse and discovered that the 3-year-old and a 4-foot Eastern Brown were both in a 1 metre squared playhouse together. And the snake was just sitting there going, I really don't want to be near this child. And the child was obviously a bit upset, but the kid didn't do anything dumb, and neither did the snake, so no one was bitten. The ambulance rocked up, and we did a check on the child, make sure that there were no bite wounds or bite marks or anything like that. But yeah, completely unscathed. So that just goes to show, if you don't do anything stupid around a snake, it's not going to do anything stupid either. Troy says, I'll read you out, Troy. Changing people's opinions is the hardest part of our job, in my opinion. I think you're right, mate. Look, we've been banging on this venture of changing people's opinions I've been doing it for more than 20 years trying to change opinions. But, Troy, it is so satisfying when you do change someone's opinion. You have to agree with that. Especially if you're someone that you know is like a hardcore snake hater, and, they've killed snakes in the past, and their whole persona is the only good snake's a dead snake. When you can change that person's opinion, I don't think there's anything better than that. It's just, and that's why we do it. It's the whole reason for doing it. And, I just finished reading your comment. The most rewarding part is when people say they aren't as scared as they used to be. So, but yeah, and that's why we make content, Troy. And obviously you make content as well. Drop a link to, whatever your socials are. We'll follow you on there, mate. Because if you're making content to try and change people's opinions as well, I'll follow you for that for sure. Zach, so someone said, what's your opinion on the insect wildlife in town? As in spiders and tarantulas.
I'm not a really insect enthusiast, but
I'm not a big fan of the tarantulas in Australia, to be honest. You see tarantulas in other areas of the world, and they're really pretty, and you can handle them. Yeah, and they're real calm, and you can put them on your hands. If you grab a tarantula from out in the outback here, it's going to mess you up. They're not a happy little spider. They don't like being handled.
Do they eat mice?
Tarantulas?
Oh,
yeah,
they do, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I love them then.
You love it. All right, so Zach loves
if they eat
tarantulas
mice,
because they'll kill a mouse.
A mouse.
Yep, very good. Righto. But I think, I don't know if you guys have noticed, this is a question from Mackenzie about the insects and stuff. I think over the last 5-6 years, like when we had that, at the tail end of that big drought, we didn't see dragonflies anymore. There's not many dragonflies around. Didn't see butterflies that much. But the last couple of summers just gone, I've seen some massive dragonflies, and I've seen a lot of butterflies, especially out of my lawn and in our gardens. So I think the insect life is recovering as well, which is good.
Yeah.
And hopefully it only gets better.
Good
We
for
hope-
the good for the lizards.
Well, yeah, that's right too. You know, it's not always just all about snakes. Lizards need to eat
Lizards.
food as well. Now, this is a comment for you, mate. It says, why does every animal on Earth want to kill Zach?
Who said that?
No, you don't need to
Yeah.
know who said it.
Alright, just to test his limits, I guess. I
Um,
don't know. Just yeah.
but yeah, Cookie, that is true. I don't.
Oh, you-
I don't, yeah, you knew his, you
Yeah.
should have known who wrote that. But I think there's not very many animals on Earth that haven't tried to bite you.
Nah.
Most of them have succeeded. Let's be honest.
Oh, they've done a good job. I'll give them that. They've done a great job.
Cookie, actually, that's so.
That's actually a question.
The comment there from Adam that said, "Why does every animal on Earth want to kill Zach?" Adam was actually a snake catcher here in Broken Hill with us, and he's now a snake catcher in Gawler. So you guys get onto Facebook and search for Gawler Snake Catcher. Follow him on there. So he's doing the snake catching up in Gawler. I think he's the only one in the area too. So if you know someone in Gawler that may need a snake catcher in the future, tell him to get onto his socials and follow him. Troy is the reptile bloke. I've heard of you before and I've seen stuff from you before as well. I'm going to follow you when I get 5 seconds. I don't know how I can screenshot that. Does anyone know how you screenshot on a laptop? It's like Control F10 or something, I think. But if I do that and blow up the computer, I don't want to do it. So someone wants to know what kind of watch you're wearing tonight, Zach.
I don't have a watch on.
He hasn't got a watch on tonight, mate.
I'm
So-
watchless. I feel naked.
He said he feels naked because he doesn't have a watch on. I don't, sorry guys, I've not been over on the YouTube. Dallas said he's on YouTube and he can't hear us very well, but Dallas, it's because the microphones that we're wearing are linked to the Facebook Live. So if you want to hear us a bit better, head over to the Facebook Live and all the audio will be a bit better over there. There has to be more education. Greaves said, 100% agree, there has to be more education. I think there has to be, it's always about education.
It's more than just rocking up, catching a snake and leaving.
Well, it is, and look, we like having a chat with people. If we go and catch a snake and people are happy to sit around and have a chat with us, we'll do that every day of the week.
Do it.
I think we need to chuck another log on that fire though. It's starting to get a bit cool out here.
Mm.
I'll go through some comments and I'll read you some stuff out, and you can answer some questions while you're doing the fire pit.
Maintain the fire.
So, Nosy Bumblebee said, "How is the car going in the shed?" I don't know who that is, but the car that's in the shed is not going well. We've not done a great deal with it. I'm still doing some body work eventually, and it'll have to get into paint. But once it's in paint, I'll put it back together. Then we'll be right. Chris asked, "What's the biggest snake we've held?"
We've held or caught.
What's the big? Well, it just says held. It doesn't say caught. I haven't been. I've never held like a Burmese python or anything. Have you been at any of the zoos where they've got like those massive Burmas
Nah.
or?
Probably might be a 3-metre olive.
Yeah, I've had an olive that was over 3 meters.
Yeah. I don't know, 2-foot stimmy.
I've had a coastal that was over 3 meters though.
Yeah, my coastal was 2.8.
Yours? No, yours is bigger than 2.8. Has to be.
2.9.
You'd be getting 3.5 plus meter sheds
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
you'll be getting there. Put it across on that, Jim.
Oh, who cares? I think people. You might have. See if we can push that one off as well. Zach's gonna catch fire. I wish we could see Zach catching fire right now.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
All right. Aaron's on here encouraging Cookie.
Oh God.
Oh, right. So, anyway. Oh, it's Hado. Bumblebee is Hado. I've just figured out who Bumblebee is. Righto.
No.
Righto. So next question. So we've about 30 minutes and we only got on to the first question of what was that all about. That was about, all right, so how do you identify a venomous snake? So that was a question that we get asked a fair bit. How do you know if a snake's venomous or not?
Well, You don't really want to like identify it, just treat it as it's a venomous snake in a way. You don't, want to pick, you don't want to pick it up and see what it is.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing as well. So we've got 16, 17 species of snake here, and if you don't know what they are, most of them can look like a brown snake, a juvenile brown snake. And they always get mistaken for juvenile brown snakes, and people kill them, which is it's shit, but it just happens, unfortunately. But yeah, so we always say it doesn't matter what it is, unless you 100% know that it's a python. Like sometimes pythons can be pretty easy to tell. But yeah, just for the general public, even a lot of time, the general public don't know the difference between a python and a venomous snake anyway. So yeah, we just always say just don't bother about identifying it. If it's a snake, it's a snake, and leave it alone. Get someone out there to catch it. If it can't be, moved on. Well, I think my goal eventually would be that we could sort of live in some sort of symbiotic harmony with reptiles and just, you
Let
know,
them go by their day.
people know that there's a snake there. And we know people now that do that, especially station owners, which is good because they, they've got snakes that they know live around the homestead or in the hay shed,
Yeah.
and they're leaving there, which is good.
They do your favour to eat all the rats and mice that
Well,
that you don't
yeah.
want there.
That's right, and they are they're like the cheapest form of pest control you can get. Doesn't get better.
Service and that.
So, Mackenzie says, if you guys are ever in need of some insect knowledge, Riley and I are down to educate. I've never really had a big knowledge.
Insects.
No, I've never known a great deal about insects. I think insects are pretty cool, for the most part, but only when it comes to like dragonflies, butterflies. I don't like mosquitoes, I don't like flies,
No.
I don't particularly like ants.
No.
They're probably the only ones I don't like.
I reckon ants are cool. They make really cool caves and I don't know, that sort of stuff.
I like how they do the mold pouring where they like get aluminium and they get it red hot.
All the
Chuck
channels.
it down. Yeah, I mean that's decimating an entire ecosystem down there, but it's cool to see, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want people to be doing it all the time, but what are the most dangerous snakes in Broken Hill, Zach?
Well, got your eastern brown. They're second on the planet. They're Australia's most dangerous snake. Like, they're just so. I won't say they're odd. They're dangerous only if you start stirring them up. But really, they're a nice, gentle snake from a distance. But if you start touching them, trying to kill them, they can be quite dangerous and quite the flighty snake.
I think your eastern browns, they're a pretty flighty snake. If you startle one, they go from 0 to 10 pretty quick.
Yeah,
Mulga's not so much.
they're chill. They
Mulga's
can be.
pretty chill. But in terms of our highly venomous species that we have in Broken Hill, we've got your Mulga, which is your king brown, eastern brown, and your western brown, and they're our main species that we get here. We're rumoured to have gotten taipans here. We never come across them. We don't get tiger snakes. We don't get red bellies. We don't get any of the. I was almost gonna say we don't get any of the cool stuff, but for any of the other snake catchers that are anywhere else in Australia, they reckon we get all the cool stuff here.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of spoiled, but we don't know that we're spoiled.
But it's good we've got a little variety of snakes going.
We have a huge variety of snakes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to note that most of the species of snake that we get here are not venomous, or they are venomous, but they're not considered dangerous to humans.
Yeah.
Like your
Curl snakes.
your curl snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Red napes, orange napes, mallee black-headed snakes,
King cobra.
shovel-nosed snakes. Tell people you get king cobras here. That'll be a new one. So yeah, our most dangerous species, obviously, your mulga, eastern brown, and western brown. We get several species of western, or several subspecies of western brown here, but they're our main highly venomous snakes. The ones that if you do something stupid and it bites you, you're not going to have a good week.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna mess you up a little bit.
You should know what it is before you start really stirring it up like that.
Yeah, look, just don't stir snakes up. I think that's
Pretty much.
that's
Just
the
leave
big topic, isn't it? Really. Righto. So the next question that we get, I don't know why this wasn't at the top, because it's probably our most common question, is how do we keep snakes away from your home and garden?
Well, a number of things you can do. You go, I don't know, if you live close to the edge of town and you have a really messy yard, even just not on the edge of town, you've got like a really messy yard, you're gonna attract snakes. Like sheets of iron. It's a really untidy yard. But you can have the most cleanest yard in town and you still get a snake.
Yeah, I think it's probably not even, I'm not even so worried about people with weeds and messy yards. Like, that provides places for them to hide, but it doesn't give them a reason to be there. Something I'm always saying, especially with people that have birds, and old mate that lives out in the ute, they have, 500 birds or something like that, and we always get called for snakes there. So it's birds, whether it be, aviaries, or whether they have chickens or whatever it is, that's the number one thing that attracts. There's no bigger attractant for snakes than having birds. So if you've got birds, guys, you're going to have a snake. That's just, it doesn't get any simpler than that. You're providing a food source, because birds make a mess with bird seed. The bird seed attracts the mice, and then when you've got a population of mice that live there, that's just a massive homing beacon for snakes. So you're always going to have lots and lots of snakes being attracted to places with, a large population of birds. Right, so, and we'll go into a bit more depth about this, what do snakes eat? But then we've got to think about different species of snakes as well.
Depends what it is.
So we have snakes in Broken Hill that exclusively eat reptiles. That's all they will not eat anything other than a reptile, so they'll eat skinks and geckos and stuff like that, and there are smaller species of snakes as well.
And then there's your mulgars, big garbage guts.
Yeah, mulgars are garbage guts. Mulgars will eat other snakes as well. I've seen a mulgar eating another mulgar. I've seen a mulgar eating another roadkill mulgar, actually. That was just sitting on the road dead. So that will happen all the time. But birds are, if they can get to the birds, they'll eat birds. Bird eggs, they'll eat eggs. That's why they sort of hang around in chook enclosures as well, whether it be chook eggs if it's a big snake.
Anything that they can get, they'll eat.
And there was that video of the eastern brown eating that. Was it a western shingleback that it was eating? A western blue tongue? Or an eastern blue? I think it was an eastern, unfortunately, but that's alright. But anyway, so we've got that agenda sorted out. I think another thing that we were going to move on to was snake myths, because that was something that, people, especially when we're out catching snakes, someone will always throw a little snake myth at us.
Yeah.
I think probably the most common one was, if there's one snake, there's more.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's not a myth, because if you have a nice habitat for snakes, then maybe there'll be another one there.
Yeah.
But they don't sort of hang around in gangs or anything like that. The YouTube live should be coming back online any minute now, hopefully, which it is. That's back online. Sorry, guys. Anyone that was on YouTube, there'll be no one left there, I'm sure. I don't even know. It doesn't tell me. But yeah, so that's all back up and running. Apparently, Zach, you have to put socks on.
I got socks on.
Oh, he's got socks on. So yeah, what was Yeah, so we had the little piece of paper here talking about snake myths. Sleepies. That was the snake myth, that sleepies keep snakes away.
No, they do not, unfortunately.
And we know that because we've seen snakes eat sleepies.
I've seen
Big snakes.
Yeah.
I actually knew a guy, 2015 I reckon. I was working with a bloke, and he had a property like a vineyard, and he used to go around killing every sleepy he saw because he believed that sleepies attracted snakes.
Oh no.
So this guy had been going around, he'd killed hundreds of sleepies. I don't know where he got the idea that sleepies would attract snakes, but that was his belief, and he'd been going around and he'd been on the orchard for years, and he'd been going around just killing every sleepy he ever saw, that's a massive shame. But, we obviously set him on the right path, and hopefully he hasn't been killing any sleepy since, but
Yeah, yeah.
now, so the next thing that we wanted to talk about was, are snakes dead? If so, why? If not, why?
Just, well, anything dead's that's got no ears, so pretty much. But you know, they're dead animals. They can't hear, unfortunately. You can
But-
scream all as much as you want. You can carry on.
So it depends on the time. So snakes do have internal ears, so they don't have an external ear like we do or lizards do or whatever. But they do have eardrums and they have all the normal ear stuff. It's just inside them. So they hear male voices more than female voices because they're deeper and they're a deeper tone. But yes, correct. You can scream as much as you want at a snake. It's not going to bother.
No.
Well, I guess it would depend how close you are to it, but yeah. So yelling and getting a fright or screaming or whatever is not going to bother a snake in any way, shape or form. It must be getting cold out here because my bit of paper's getting
Yeah,
floppy.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Look, that one's floppy as well. But it doesn't matter. We've got a fire going. Next myth, and this is something that people always say: the snakes are slimy. And I've even had people touch a snake and go, "Oh, it's slimy," when they're clearly not. So we know snakes aren't slimy, they're sort of silky.
Yeah. Silky
And-
smooth.
That even depends on the species as well. Like, my death adder's quite rough
Yeah.
because that's the kind of the species of snake. They're quite a rough feeling snake. Wommers are a rougher snake than most snakes as well, like, in terms of pythons. But for the most part, snakes are smooth, quite smooth. Feel like silk. If you've never been able to get around and get your hands on a snake or feel a snake or hold a snake in real life, make sure you do it and it's put on your bucket list. I think it's an important thing to do. Now, the next one is that snakes chase people. Now, we can confirm and deny this thing.
We've proven it. We've tested it numerous times.
Yes, but we've both been chased by snakes,
Okay.
and that's quite controversial.
Yeah.
But the only snakes that I've been chased by are mulgars when I've been annoying them for 30 minutes plus, and the snake gets to the point where they go, you know what, I've had enough,
Yeah.
and then they come at you,
Yeah.
and because they've sort of felt like that's where they're at. They're like, well, the only way I'm going to get out of this is through you. Yeah, you can annoy a snake for long enough, but yeah, it will chase you, but it's only for
Defensive manners.
yeah, it'll only be a couple of meters until they feel they've proven their point.
Yeah.
I think if you ever see the video, do you remember that eastern brown that we were releasing out on the Sydney road that almost bit me on the todger?
Yeah.
Yeah, that snake was a good example because that snake got pretty well, it was pretty grumpy. It was a big female eastern brown. She got pretty grumpy by the end of that. And
Saying, I
the
don't know.
second we let that tail go, she just saw the opening between us and she was gone. But yeah, so the snake's are not going to chase you. It's
No.
just ridiculous. And there's videos out there of people with snakes coming towards them and stuff like that. And it's just a misunderstanding of what that snake's actually doing. It's not chasing by any means.
It's also a fight or flight thing.
Yeah, that's right. But it's only if a snake's cornered and it has to go towards you to get out of the corner, it
Yeah.
will go towards you.
Yeah.
That it has to do it. It's got no option, unfortunately.
Can't run.
Now, cool. Oi, I want to talk about the little stupid things that you stick in the ground. They got a solar panel on them,
Oh, yeah.
and they go beep every 20 minutes.
They're a gimmick.
What do you reckon about those things?
But I was waste time even just making them. Like, we've been called the snakes that have been like random.
It's controversial because I know that there have been people in the past that have spoken out and said they don't work. And I believe that legal action has actually been started against people in the past for calling them a scam. But they just are.
Yeah, they're not real. They're not fake.
I don't know what principle they reckon that they work on. They say that they emit a frequency into the ground that the snakes don't like. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They're a trap. They're a trap for the people that want to believe in it.
yeah, and it's a false sense of security because then if you've got them in your backyard and you believe that they're warding off the snakes, and then you're wandering around in your garden barefoot because you're assuming there's no snakes there. I don't know how they haven't been sued. I don't know
Yeah.
how someone hasn't gone, well, that didn't work, and now I've been bitten by a snake because I did something silly.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah. No. They're not.
They really shit me off. I've done a video on those things previously, and many people have done videos and many people have done tests. If you look at, I think it was Stuart Mackenzie, he's a snake catcher up in Queensland.
Yeah.
I think he's put up several videos of where he's been called out to snakes that were actually hiding underneath one.
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah, and I think there was a mating video of some snakes mating under one of those things at one stage as well. Steph has had arguments with people about those snake repellers, and yeah, it's just mental. I don't know how they're allowed to sell them, knowing that they don't. There's no scientific evidence, or there's no evidence in any way, shape, or form. There's not even any made-up evidence that show that they work.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, people keep buying them. They're still available. That was a good word. They're still available at all your hardware stores, and they're not cheap. They're freaking expensive. I think the last ones that I've seen was like a pack of 4 for $100.
Yeah.
That's a really easy way to waste $100.
Yeah.
Apart from the pokies. So yeah, Steph said that they've caught snakes with those things in the yard as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think yeah, she said if they sell them, they must work and must in capitals, or they must do something in my mind, but they don't. We know they don't. It's been proven many times that they don't do anything. If you Google it, or even just get on YouTube and have a look at any of the videos that are up there. There's probably hundreds of videos with examples of them things not doing
There's a lot.
not doing anything.
There's a lot. And there's different makes too.
Yeah. Oh, how many brands are there for those things?
Oh, I don't know.
There'd be several.
Oslong.
Wouldn't the carcass of a sleepy attract more snakes? I don't think so.
It attract the smell of one.
Well, I mean, snakes aren't attracted to carrion or anything like that. Yeah, they're attracted to fecal matter from mice and stuff because they can smell that a mile off, and that would indicate to them that there's a live mouse in the area. But I don't think the carcass of a lizard is going to attract a snake to the area unless it was a species of snake that's willing to eat something like that. Maybe a mulga. I wouldn't put it past a mulga eating a battery that smells like a mouse. Mulgas are nature's disposable units. They will eat anything on the planet. Yes. So actually, some people are actually talking about snake repellers on here as well. So yeah, I think those snake repellers are something that really need to be investigated by. I don't know what the authority is or who the authority is that would do some sort of investigation on those things, but there's got to be someone that can do an investigation and say yes they work, no they don't, or whatever it may be, and either take them off the market or shut us all up and prove they work.
Pretty much.
And they're not going to shut me up because I know they don't work. It's just silly. I've got snakes in my yard out here, and my neighbours have those snake repellers, and they don't seem to bother my snakes at all. I have snakes that live outside in these enclosures. See the enclosures behind us there? The one in the corner there, that's got lace monitors in it. The one next to it has bearded dragons, and the one over to my right here that you guys can't see has big pythons living in it. So they live outside full time. Now, the other question that we always get is that snakes can sense fear.
No, they can't. But they can sense how you're acting though.
That's exactly right. Yeah. If you're scared, you're going to behave in a weird way, and that makes them uncomfortable, not your fear.
If you're carrying on in front of a snake, it's going to get scared.
Yeah.
If you're calm around a snake, it's not going to...
And it's movement, hey?
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, if you're waving your arms around and jumping up and down and running around in circles.
Or if you're chasing trying to kill it, you can see fast movements, it knows its life and danger. So.
That was something I said I was going to bring that up earlier, didn't I? And
Oh,
I haven't brought it up.
Yeah.
You've got to tell us the story.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you've got to tell us. It's public knowledge. Everyone knows what happens.
Well, basically, if you try and kill a snake, you fail, you ring us, you're going to get not the nicest response from us, basically.
But I can't remember the story exactly. You're gonna have to tell us all that. What did he do, or what happened?
What part?
No, you got to go from the start.
Alright, I got a call, and the residents tried to kill a snake, and they tried killing it, and they rang me, saying I tried killing a snake, I failed, can you come get it? And I said I didn't want to come because I didn't feel safe. It's put my life in danger more because the snake felt like its life was in danger. Like I could go to a really happy, healthy snake, and I could rock up to a really nasty snake because he knows he's been trying to get shoveled.
Well, and that was it. So basically,
We've done a lot of calls like that, not just the one. We've been to a few like that.
but I got a voice message from him that was quite interesting, and I think I'll put that voice message on the media, on the socials as well.
Yeah.
So I outed him for it.
Like I've done a trip to Kobe, not Kobe. It was Menindee somewhere. Rocked up and there was a snake and a half. And I said, "Oh, it's your fault. You're the one that's arrogant." And
Yeah.
just left. So yeah.
But I mean, the incident that we were talking about before, old mate actually rang you up and said, "I'm going to kill this snake," and you said, "Oh, I'm not going to come out because you're just going to put my life in danger."
Yeah.
And he got a little bit grumpy about that. I wonder, it wouldn't be funny if he was watching the live.
Yeah.
But he would have sent a comment in by now if he was. But that was, and I think there was no one. The overwhelming response we got from the social media, or I think we uploaded it to Facebook at the time. People just saying, well done, you did the right thing. You shouldn't have to deal with that kind of treatment.
However, I did catch that snake 2 days later.
Yeah, and was it? I can't remember. Was it injured or not?
No, he was fine. He was alright. He was a big, like I said, he was a big grumpy when I got him.
Yeah,
Which is, he had every right to be grumpy.
but it wasn't at that house. It was a different property, wasn't
No, it was a couple door, 5 or 6 doors down,
it? Yeah.
in the same street, on the same block.
Yeah. But, I mean, if people are going to attempt to kill a snake and then call us, that's putting our lives in danger.
Yeah.
Because then, you've got a snake that's possibly injured, that's going to be in a very grumpy mood. And then they're going to have death on their hands, unfortunately. And my wife wasn't very happy about that whole situation at the time. And she was actually pretty grumpy with you ended up going. That was just a plain.
Example.
It was a good example of what we will do if people behave like that. We've always done this for free. We don't do this as a business. People supporting us on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube now. Hopefully, we can grow the YouTube channel to be a bit bigger than it is. It's only new. It's in its infancy, but it will get there. And supporting us on Patreon as well. We've put that Patreon money. We've got some audio gear, so that hopefully we can do some better videos and with a bit better audio, so it's not like one of us quite loud holding the camera and one of us quiet off in the distance. Bit better quality videos for you guys. I was waiting for Fitzy's Reptiles to rock up, mate. How the hell are you, mate? I haven't spoken to you for I actually had a notification on my phone that said it's been a while since I spoke to you and I should give you a call. It was just a random thing that popped up on my reminders on one of the socials. I can't remember what it was. We were having a little chat about the reptile park earlier, mate. We, I think by the end of this month or early next month, I should have some good news, hopefully. It's news that's probably going to put me in a lot of debt, but I should be having some good news about the location of the reptile park. So keep tuned. That will be coming up very shortly. But I think we've probably gone through all of the stuff that we wanted to go through for the agenda. There's 3 pages worth of stuff. I don't know how long we've been live for. I think we've been live for a fair while now. I didn't know how long the live was actually going to happen or go for, because I didn't know how long, batteries and all that sort of stuff was going to last. But I think we've been live for a little while, and we may as well. Oh, all right. Well, just got another question came in. Let's have a chat about unlicensed keepers and how often people are surrendering wild caught, poorly cared for reptiles. And not only that, it's poaching as well. So unlicensed keepers, excuse me, especially in Broken Hill that I'm aware of, they just keep poaching Stimson's pythons, and it's really pissing me off. We have a really fragile population of stimmies, and I think even at this point, I think we've got, that I know of, there's about 5 or 6 wild caught stimmies in captivity, which, it's a shame because they're taking them out of the breeding pool, and it's really doing damage to wild populations of those little stimmies. And I think.
Well, you go back a couple of years ago, we wouldn't find a stimmy, and now we're starting to see them.
Yeah.
And then now we've got people taking them out of the wild. Which is
Yeah, well, and I don't know how much of us now starting to see the stimmies is through, our efforts in trying to convince people not to take them out of the wild too. Which, hopefully it is. I'd like to think that we've had some sort of impact on that, but I don't know if we have. There's a lot of people that see the stimmies and they just grab them, take them home, chuck them in a box, and that's where they live until they die. And they don't know how to care for them, they don't have proper setups, they don't have heating, don't feed them properly, don't care for them properly, which is a shame. But that happens a lot, unfortunately. But I'd really like people to stop poaching. And also for the drug trade, apparently it's a thing, is people go out and they'll catch native reptiles and they end up in the drug trade. They go in, they trade them for, whatever drugs they're doing at the time, and then they get sold to overseas markets or whatever it may be. So
that'd be it, yeah.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but I don't think that's something we're going to stop anytime soon, unfortunately. But yes, so digressing back to what we were saying before, I think it's about time I'm gonna go and get a drink, and we're gonna put another log on this fire, and we'll talk to all of you guys a little bit later down the track. Feel free to, in the meantime, if you want to follow us on any of our socials, so TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us on YouTube, because I'm probably going to start uploading more and more videos to the YouTube platform. If you want to support us on Patreon, we've got a few people, locals, that I think they're locals, I'm not sure. A few people that support us, give us a couple of dollars a month on Patreon, helps out with a bit of petrol. Got us a bit of recording equipment. So, we've got little microphones here that hopefully work. They seem to work, or they worked when we did the test anyway. And, keep up to it. Hopefully we've got a couple of months now until the new season is going to sort of start. But
Yeah.
We'll start winding up. As soon as we start getting the calls, we'll be putting a bit more content out there for you guys to watch. But follow us in the meantime, and if you've got any questions or anything that you want us to cover in another live down the track, we'll do this again for sure. It's been good fun. I'm going to lose my voice by the end of it, but it's been good. And just shoot us a message.
Done.
All our phone numbers are out there. Phone numbers are all public, so you can text or call us. You can send a message through to the Facebook page. We'll get them, and that comes through to all of us as well.
Yeah, it does.
But that'd be good. If anyone's got anything they want us to talk about or any questions they want to ask, feel free to ask us at any time. All right, guys, we are going to sign off, and I'm going to go and get a drink.
Yes, you are.
It was good to have you all here, guys. Talk to you next time.
Boom.
And then they're still sitting there watching us because
Yeah.
everything's still recording anyway. Go and hit stop on some stuff, eh?
Fail.
I said, catch you guys, and then we're all still here anyway.
And finish.
do mine as well.
Where is your finish? I can't find your finish.
Oh, I don't know.
Mine just said
I
finish.
don't even know how to do that.
No, mine just said finish.